Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. This may be a pretty short one, although definitely a consequential weekend wrap. I've not had the opportunity to watch any of the undercards in their entirety for the two big events that we had over in the Midlands, Derby and Birmingham, with Ben Whittaker and Benjamin Gavazi, and then Frazer, Clarke and Jeamie TKV. I've seen bits and pieces of each fight, but I just haven't watched them in enough detail to really speak about them. So I won't be. I know Fran Hennessy obviously beat Batiki or Batici, I think as they was how they was pronouncing the name. So look, it was, you know, good, I guess a good platform for her. It came out doing her dancing thing, if sort of that's what you guys call it, that's what you like. She definitely will suit the BBC, I think, in terms of just her look, her bubbly energy, infectious smile. You can definitely see that they could give her like a contract to do something outside of boxing, whether it was like Strictly Come Dancing or maybe a couple episodes of EastEnders or another drama series, or even just like maybe morning talk shows or children's TV or something, because she definitely got that kind of vibe to her. So congratulations to her winning, what was it, WBC international title at bantamweight. I think she was supposed to be campaigning that. So yeah, congrats to her. Didn't really see any of the like I said, the undercard. I was trying to watch the Joel Kadua fight, and when I was using my phone to, you know, watch iPlayer, it wasn't allowing me to do picture in picture for some reason, and I needed my phone to get the basically get the graphics done and stuff for the watch along. So kind of missed out on that. Took the dog out beforehand, all that good stuff. So yeah, don't really know what happened in any of the undercard stuff there, or even on the Matchroom side. I know the results. So yeah, I guess Molly McCann over Ebony Cotton did well. Cameron Vong and Gavin Gwynn had a majority draw. I didn't get a chance to watch all of the rounds. The rounds I saw at the start, Vong was winning. Then it looked like Gavin Gwynn came on strong towards sort of the second half of some of the rounds that I saw. So I don't have any issue, I suppose, with the draw itself. Again, I didn't watch enough of the fight to be able to give a take either way. But you know, as another, it looked as if Cameron Vong was unable to actually make the necessary adjustments he needed to make from their first fight to make it an easier night. Whether that's he didn't have the gas tank for it, or Gavin Gwynn was obviously just better than he thought, not sure, but such is life. I haven't watched the Aaron Bowen fight as of yet, but I do know that he lost. But I also heard it was a great fight to watch. So yeah, I guess I'll get a chance to sort of watch some of those fights before Fight Talk Live on Tuesday. Talk about the main events, because I did watch both of these in full. Well, Frazer's one, actually, I missed one round as I had to go and collect my food from downstairs. But the start of it, the thing is, one thing I'll say, right, and this is one bit of good grace I will give to Frazer Clarke. He's 270 pounds, but he's got himself into pretty good shape as of late. And when you look at him, like, you know, in his clothes, just everyday clothing, and even when you kind of look at him in the ring with his, you know, his shorts on and his you know, and his protector and everything, he doesn't actually look like he weighs 270 pounds. So it's a bit of a deceptive size, although he does have very sort of thick calves and stuff, so you can tell that he carries a lot of weight in his legs. But that being said, him being 270 in this particular fight did not help him at all. He came out very aggressive in the first few rounds, and I did say that I expected him to be more aggressive. And I expected that when it came sort of down to it, he would be a bit more fundamentally sound than Jeamie was. And like when Jeamie sort of maybe on the inside, Frazer would be able to create that separation, create those clear shots and, you know, sort of work away. And then I wasn't really sure if Jeamie TKV had truly recovered from the Adelier fight, where obviously the left hook out of nowhere, and then sort of the rest of the barrage, I just wasn't sure what the Whiskers were saying. So I thought that, you know, way towards the end of the fight, like rounds 10, 11, he could end up potentially getting stopped. I wanted him to win. I did say I wanted him to win, but I did believe that Frazer would. And unfortunately, my prediction was wrong, although my heart didn't mind too much. And again, unfortunately, I've given Frazer Clarke way too much credit than he deserves as a boxer. You know, as a man, don't know him, so can't comment anything like that. Yes, we had our little tete-a-tete, as some of you may have seen if you saw the interview that I done with him. But outside of that, I've had no reason to have anything negative to say about him. But boxing wise, I said ages ago, I would be surprised if he even goes beyond British level. I said I believe that he can get a British title, but that would be the basically the summary of his career. I said that a couple of years back, and it looks as if I've almost been proven right, because obviously his career's not over just yet, but he's had 3 attempts at the British title and hasn't won it yet. So he definitely ain't going to be moving beyond that level. Now, that's not to take away from what TKV done, because as I kind of said and alluded to prior, TKV is he's a messy fighter. He's a fighter that can he can make it look awkward and scrappy and horrible, but he's actually quite effective on the inside. He's able to sort of get off those really good jab on the inside, nullify the opposition, and then sort of lean and hold and, you know, throw a couple shots on the inside, maybe get a little bit rough and dirty with the lead hand and the forearms and stuff. But all of this is just stuff that kind of will just grind you down bit by bit by bit. And Frazer did well in the first 2 to 3 rounds. Like the first 2 rounds specifically, he was whipping body shots in. He was throwing those short looping uppercuts from both the lead hand and the backhand on the inside. He was trying to create separation to throw the backhand straight and to push it through the target. And a lot of this in the first couple rounds, Jeamie was literally just trying to get onto the inside to hold, to catch a breather, and it felt like the body shots and everything was taking effect. At that point, you would see Frazer constantly walking TKV back to the ropes, making him sort of lean his back on the ropes, having the referee split them. It just looked like he was just trying to drain him out and sort of drain the energy down that way. But from about round 3 onwards, TKV started to get some of his work done, both on the inside. He got his jab moving bits and pieces as well. He started obviously getting into the clinch as well, and both guys were just sort of, it just became a bit messy between sort of rounds 3, I'd say about rounds 3 to 8. Those sort of 5 rounds there was very, very sort of messy rounds to kind of be and look at and enjoy. But there was a lot of little subtle works going in, whether it was a little short hook here or a little small uppercut there. I believe it was in round 3 where TKV got a point taken off for low, I think it was low shots. I felt it was a bit harsh, to be honest, but the referee did say that he warned him several times. So, you know, I guess that's just how they kind of played that one out. Then, you know, as I said, it gets to sort of round 7, 8, but from about round 4, 5 onwards, you could see Frazer was starting to look a little bit leggy. He was trying to bounce up and down, get a little bit of spring in the steps, but you could just see the energy starting to drain down and drain down and drain down. And by the time it got to that sort of round 8, round 9, Frazer Clarke was, he was out on his feet. Like, he was leggy, he couldn't really walk straight, he was swaying, mouth wide open. You see him in the corner, it almost like he's concussed, like he's not paying attention to anything that's being said, even though he's kind of responding. He just had this very vacant and blank stare in his eyes. It was, it was a little bit concerning, I ain't gonna lie to you. TKV started to step her up a little bit. Jeamie started to whip in those body shots. He started to whip in the little short left hooks when they were trying to exchange left hooks. They were both trying to trade right hooks as well, overhand rights. But TKV just started having the better of all the rounds from then onwards, and it was just sort of like this sustained attack. And at one point, you're thinking, should Frazer's team actually pull him out of this fight, because he's just kind of wobbling all over the place, looks like he can barely breathe. And TKV, even though at this point he's got this really sort of grotesque swelling on his eye, he's the one that kind of just looked like he was going from strength to strength, like he got his second wind. He was ready to do another 3-4 rounds. Almost every round he's the first one out to the center of the ring, with the ref having to shush him and shoo him back towards this corner. So he was really showing body language like he was up for this, whereas Frazer was showing language like, get me out of here, like hurry up and finish the fight. And yeah, I just don't think that's conducive to being, I guess, really sort of being that champion. That may be a prerequisite of how much that first and second Fabio Wardley fight took out of him. I mean, the second one obviously maybe took a little facial damage, and sort of maybe structurally took something away from him there. But that was a pretty quick one. I think it was 2 rounds that took place in. Whereas this fight, I mean, I'd say his first fight with Fabio Wardley, which was just like this all-out slugfest, where again, he was actually able to hide the fact he was tired extremely well, until the moment the fight ended and he literally collapsed onto the ropes like, I can barely breathe. Something is wrong with his gas tank. Maybe he just hasn't got a good one naturally. That could be loads of years of bad habits before boxing, or maybe even during his early years of boxing. But whatever it possibly is, he's paying for it now. He hasn't got power, not the kind of power you need to be at any good level of at heavyweight, especially. Hasn't got the speed, hasn't got really the timing. Fundamentals is okay, technique is pretty good, but even there, like, he doesn't necessarily have the pro schooling down to a T. 3 cycles in the amateurs, I think he came into the game way too late. But as I said before, I can't really see him going any further than British level, and I'll be surprised now if he even gets to win the British title. I don't know what's left for him. Boxer put a lot of money on the table for him initially in Sky Sports. I don't know what kind of contract he's on now. I don't know if they look to keep him around on the BBC, but yeah, I guess it is what it is. In terms of Jeamie TKV, shout out to him, because ultimately he was the B-side. He was the underdog. He was the guy that wasn't supposed to win this fight. He was the guy that was complaining about, well, if you believe Eddie Hearn, that he had the fight lined up with Dave Allen, and they kept putting it off, giving him the contract until they was able to select the date for this bout for the British title. And apparently he wasn't happy about that. Well, he took it out on Frazer last night, and on his second attempt, the first attempt, we still, there's question marks about should he have been able to win that fight, or should he have been given the opportunity for a breather, a rest, to try and recover from, obviously the shot and the issue that John Latham did or caused in that particular bout. But yeah, look, onwards and upwards. I believe that they are now looking at a Dave Allen and TKV fight for some time. I think I've heard somewhere around May. Dave Allen's going to get out on the 21st of February card that's taking place in Nottingham between Lee Wood and Josh Warrington. the rematch. So yeah, he's going to go out in that, and then apparently once that one is sort of done, then he will, they're going to make the fight with TKV. That'll be an interesting fight. I'll be looking forward to watching, most definitely. But yeah, shout out to TKV. And as for Clarke, who knows what's next there. Now, on the Matchroom side, as obviously I gave sort of brief overview of the bouts that kind of I didn't really watch, but I managed to watch Ben Whittaker versus Benjamin Gavazi. Now, I literally turned over from the BBC card just as they was announcing Ben's name in the ring. So myself and Danny Glover, who did the Fight Talk live watch along last night, I was the one calling the action between Ben and Benjamin. And the first couple moments, it seemed like Gavazi was up for it. He was trying to throw sort of big shots. He was trying to pop the jab. He was trying to land the backhand. All maybe a little bit too soon, a bit reckless. He was definitely obviously the smaller guy. A couple of times Ben did manage to sort of clinch, lean on him, push him off, and then sort of reset. But Ben was just being masterful with the jab primarily throughout the majority of the round. It was just, sort of popping that jab, doubles, triples, head, body, head, body, head. He was trying to obviously throw the right hand behind it on a couple of occasions. There was a few times where it maybe grazed, but it also missed on one or two occasions. But he stayed patient, stayed composed. Then I can't remember if it was a left hook that started it all, but I remember he hits Gavazi with a big, I think there was a left hook in there, or there was definitely a right. And then Gavazi sort of stuns back, drops, wobbles. The flurry sort of comes in, and Ben lands overhand right, kind of over the top, which hits him. Looks like it hits him around the temple, and then he sort of drops to the floor. But he gets straight back up. So at that particular point, he wasn't hurt, but I guess it was maybe just an equilibrium, balance thing. Got up, said to the referee, "I'm good to go." Ben decides to then go for another salvo, another flurry, but he's being careful with a couple shots downstairs. Then he starts to throw a couple shots up top, and the fight ultimately ends with a what was it? I think there was a straight right, then there was a left, then there was a left hook, I think it was, then a right hook that landed bang on the chin and took Benjamin Gavazi out. Starfished on the floor. Referee pretty much waved it off straight away, which was the correct decision because he was out. And yeah, look, Ben Whittaker made easy and light work of Benjamin Gavazi, similar to how Jaron Ennis did with Irisma Lima. When you show that you are levels above, that you do have to really show it, and credit to Ben, he did. There was very little showboating or like showing off. There was only a couple little, all right, calm down, we're not done yet, take time, don't worry, well, it's coming, don't worry, be patient kind of thing. Outside of that, there was very little sort of spins, thrills and tricks, but it was a nice competent performance, and it just sort of went to showing that I can be serious when I need to be, no nonsense when I need to be, and he's putting the division on notice. He's still a bit young in terms of where he's sort of, I guess, his pro career, so they still said that they're gonna match him correctly, but they're gonna do his development at his own time. But he's just getting into his physical prime at this point in time, so they do see a lot of upside there. And to be honest, so do I. I mean, Ben Whittaker is definitely gonna be one of the stars of Britain, provided that he can stay on the straight and narrow, which I don't think there's any suggestion that he wouldn't. I know that he's got a good family unit around him. His dad is a really good guy. Obviously his siblings, and I know that they're all very sort of close knit, and he's very close with God as of right now, so I can't see any reasons for him to let anything sort of slip by. Andy Lee seems to work well with him. The distractions and or the lack of distraction, I should say, and isolation away from like the Midlands and even England as a whole when he's doing his training camps definitely look like they're paying off for him. So I think they said they're going to get him out in February. I don't know if that's going to be on one of the Riyadh cards or maybe one of their cards that they got in America, just to sort of fight him out over there. And then I think they said that might be not maybe a run out, but another kind of showcase type fight in the States. And then like they're going to go for, I guess, one of the major domestic titles, maybe the British, European, Commonwealth, maybe a mixture of all three, probably towards the summer, and then follow it off. I believe I heard something about a Riyadh season card at the end of the year, but maybe they might do another sort of Birmingham homecoming card or something like that, which would be cool. And just have they was talking about people like Lyndon Arthur, Zach Parker, Dan Aziz, Craig Richards, and those type of opposition. I mean, him versus Ezra Taylor. If Ezra gets the title off of Edmondson when they next fight, that would be an interesting one. Hutchinson, maybe another potential opponent. And obviously at the top of the domestic tree, by name more than anything else, you've obviously got Boatsi, Yard, and then Smith. So it'd just be interesting to see sort of where they kind of play into it as well. But look, overall, two decent cards. Well, actually, no, I won't say two decent cards. It was two intriguing cards. It was a shame, obviously, they were on the same day within the same region, to be honest. So, you know, it was kind of, it wasn't like, oh, there's one for the south and one for the north. They was both basically Midlands. So it's like, well, you either come to this one or you go to that one, which maybe was a reason both were in smaller venues than they could have been. But it didn't really hurt the atmosphere too much from what I saw. I know October Red was on the ground at the Birmingham show, so I'm hoping that she was able to get some good material there. Again, thank you to everyone who watched along with myself and Danny Glover with October, sort of dropping a nice little message in just towards the end. And before I go, very big apology to anyone who was obviously expecting my Survivor Series watch along last night. Look, long story short, yeah, just sorry. I was trying to get a thumbnail done, and in the process of trying to get a thumbnail done, I fell asleep, and I woke up 10 minutes after it had started, as I hadn't even set up a stream or anything. I had no thumbnail, I had nothing to sort of like dress up. I just said, you know what, let me leave it. And to be honest, it's a good thing I did, because I was in and out of sleep for the entire thing right until sort of the last match. So it wouldn't have been a good watch along. You probably would have seen me micro sleeping every few seconds. If it had started at 1 o'clock, I think I would have been better, but the fact it was starting at 12, yeah, I just didn't, the stamina just didn't quite carry through, especially being in the gym earlier on, and you know, all the stuff, walking the dog and all that stuff, that kind of just takes a toll. And yeah, I need those moments to rest and recuperate. But I'm probably gonna do one for the Saturday night's main event on the 13th of December, obviously with it being John Cena's last match, for those who care. So while I don't necessarily like those Saturday night main event shows, because there's always like loads of adverts and ad breaks in between them, as it's a significant one, and just to make up for this one, I'll probably do that. So I'll keep you guys posted on whether I do or not. There is a lot of boxing coming up in the following week. The 6th, obviously we got the Monte Carlo show for Matchroom. There's also there's a card happening in America, and for some reason it's escaped me who's on the, oh, it's Roach, Lamont Roach and Isaac Cruz. Their card is also on next week. And there's another card or another something that's taking place on the 6th. I'm trying to remember what it is, but anyway, so I will be doing Jaya Pattaya and Hussein Sin Cara. I'm not sure if that's going to be on, yeah, I think that's going to be Saturday morning over here, and then that ends up being Sunday that'll end up being Saturday night over there. I need to double check, but it could be that I end up doing 3 watch alongs on Saturday coming. So yeah, pray for me. But with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, share, hit the hype button. I hope you've made it to the end. If you have, your trooper, I appreciate you. But yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the week coming. Fight Talk Live on Tuesday, more content coming throughout the week, and I'll catch you then. But until now, or should I say until then, peace.